Hello, let's talk about Arthurian legend. I'm sure you recognize the home page for Canvas here with the sword in the stone. This is straight out of Arthurian legend. I think everybody recognizes this image. We're going to be reading selections from Sir Thomas Malory's Morte d'Arthur, translated into modern English by Dorsey Armstrong. Dorsey Armstrong is one of the best-known names in Arthurian studies today. She's the editor of the Arthuriana Journal. You might want to have a look at the Arthuriana website. I've attached a link on Canvas. It's basically a clearinghouse for everything Arthur. You might want to take a look at it. Arthur was declared Rex Quondam et Futurus, now and future king. This is the official emblem for the society Arthuriana. A simple Google search for King Arthur produces an amazing 29,800,000 results. So what does this suggest about the popularity of Arthurian legend hundreds and hundreds of years later? Sadly, Arthur is running way behind Justin Bieber. A simple Google search for Justin Bieber yields 184 million results in 0.47 seconds. Seriously? If this is the stuff our modern legends are made of, are we not in trouble? A simple Google search for Merlin produces 84,900,000 results. I think this is obviously because of the BBC television series by the name Merlin. But again, without the Arthurian legend, Merlin as a TV show wouldn't make any sense, so it's still about Arthur. It shouldn't go unnoticed that if you search for Lancelot on Google, you will get about 12 million results. This is no accident. Lancelot was Arthur's closest friend and confidant. He committed adultery with Arthur's wife and ruined Camelot. Obviously, he's not so popular as Arthur. If you search for Guinevere on Google, you'll get even less results. 1,180,000 results. This is kind of indicative of the endurance of the double standard into the 21st century. The adulteress is more scorned than the adulterer. I personally don't think that's very fair, but it might be the way things really are. Truly, Arthurian legend permeates our society. Our literature is full of references to it. Arthur and Camelot provide not only examples of the power of fantasy, myth, and legend, but also the importance that we attach to these legends as human beings. Toyota named one of its premier cars Avalon. There is a hotel in Las Vegas called Excalibur. There is a hotel in Rome named Lancelot, I'm sorry. You can even learn to cook with King Arthur using King Arthur flour. And I have used King Arthur flour for years. It's pretty yummy. If you're lucky, you might even get to live in Camelot. And the people in this Camelot subdivision mean to keep it Camelot. It seems you can get to Camelot from almost anywhere. In November of 1960, America elected John F. Kennedy as the President of the United States. He was handsome, charismatic, rich, and smart. He was just what we needed at the time. The following December, not by accident, Alan J. Lerner and Frederick Loewe opened a fabulously successful musical based on Arthurian legend titled Camelot. It was just the escape that Americans needed. America was 5 years into the horribly unpopular Vietnam War, which had begun in 1955. We needed a place to escape. The White House was graced by the Kennedy family. Americans were enchanted by them. He was handsome. She was beautiful. She had an exotic French name, Jacqueline de Bouvier. They had money and celebrity. It all seemed glamorous. They were idealized in the minds of the American public, and the Kennedy presidency quickly became associated with the ideal of Camelot. The Broadway musical Camelot opened at the Majestic Theater in New York City on December the 3rd, 1960. The original cast with Julie Andrews, Richard Burton, Roddy McDowall, Frederick Loewe himself, and John Callum was incredible. The musical ran for 873 performances. You might want to watch the YouTube videos attached to Canvas in this unit, especially the rare documentary about the making of the musical. When Joshua Logan cast the film version of Camelot in 1967, he chose Vanessa Redgrave to play Guinevere, claiming that Julie Andrews was not photogenic enough. No doubt the incredible success of Sound of Music gave him pause. It should have. Redgrave was beautiful, but someone else did her singing, and it didn't come close to Julie Andrews' work. I was 12 years old when Camelot opened on Broadway in 1960. Obviously, that tells you how old I am. By my 13th birthday, the following July, I owned the record. That's right, vinyl. I played it until it was worn out, and then I replaced it with vinyl again. So you guys who are young may think you've discovered something new with vinyl, but those of us who are my age have always known that vinyl outdoes digital music all the time. This is now available on a CD, or you can download it from Amazon for about $10. You might want to discover it. It's pretty neat. So, was there really a King Arthur? Who knows for sure? It depends on who you talk to and when. Scholarship is always shifting. Sir Thomas Malory writes in Morte Arthur about an English Arthur, but there's also a Welsh Arthur and a French Arthur, and, as we said, maybe even an American Arthur. I'm claiming the Welsh guy. After all, Lewis is a Welsh name, and I agree with the poet Wilfred Wilson that to be born Welsh is to be born privileged, not with a silver spoon in your mouth, but music in your blood and poetry in your soul. Remember our definition of legend: a traditional story sometimes popularly regarded as historical but unauthenticated. When a story reaches this level of popular belief, we have to feel that there is some historical, or at least quasi-historical, foundation. The first mention of Arthur is in the History of the Britons, attributed to Nennius, written in the 8th century, according to Fordham University's medieval sourcebook. And here's a brief quote. "Then in those days Arthur fought against them with the kings of the Britons, but he was commander in those battles." Arthur's name literally means bear. If you think about life in the 8th century, you have to know that a bear is a very powerful animal. And Arthur was a powerful figure of some kind. You might explore this article on the Medieval Sourcebook website, which is maintained by Fordham University. If you're looking to research medieval things, Renaissance and so forth, you might look at this source book. It has lots of primary documents as well as essays that you can look at, and they're credible, they're usable. The first mention of Merlin is in Geoffrey of Monmouth's History of the Kings of Great Britain. His name literally means bird. You might make this connection that in the Game of Thrones, Bran Stark sees through the raven, through the three-eyed raven. Wonder where that idea came from. As the writer of Ecclesiastes would tell you, there's nothing new under the sun. Everything that is has been. It's very easy to think about this since a bird can fly and look down on the world. They certainly in the 8th century had no drones to do this for them. So a bird could be seen as an all-seeing figure, and a shaman or a holy man, a magician, might be inclined to look down through the eyes of a bird. Here's a section of tapestry depicting Geoffrey of Monmouth, who wrote the History of the Kings of Great Britain. And Geoffrey was Welsh. I've included a link at the bottom where you can explore some of more information about Geoffrey. Geoffrey's History of the Kings of Great Britain gives us the first account that Arthur is the bastard child of Uther Pendragon. He gives us the first mention of Gawain, Mordred, and Guinevere, and the first account of Mordred's treachery against the throne. You might enjoy this brief article from the History Channel about the origins of Arthur. This author finds no real Arthur in history, at least with that name. However, the article does suggest that there was someone whose story became the legend. According to Geoffrey, Merlin, using magic, moved Stonehenge from Ireland to England for Arthur. Obviously, as you can see, we can't take Geoffrey's work as factual history. Difficult to separate the two in a work like that. And we haven't even mentioned the French Arthur. In a survey course, we can go only so far with any character or subject, but hopefully this tiny investigation will whet your appetite and you will dig deeper on your own. If you're interested, have a look at the Arthuriana website. It's a virtual clearinghouse for everything Arthurian. Just Google it. If you want to read further, you might look into Jessie L. Weston's From Ritual to Romance, the classic study of the Arthurian legend and the roots of religion. This is a seminal work for the study of fantasy, myth, and legend for sure. T.S. Eliot claimed that it provoked him to write his near-epic poem, The Wasteland. You can find the French Arthur in the work of Chrétien de Troyes. You can find the Welsh Arthur in Geoffrey of Monmouth's History of the Kings of Great Britain. Besides Excalibur, which is one of the better movie versions of the story, there is a host of other Arthurian movies. There are TV shows. Mark Twain even wrote a novel about a Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's court. I bet you didn't even know that Twain was actually a medievalist, did you? So why do we love Arthur? I think we need him. I think every one of us wishes we could live in Camelot. I think there is something in every one of us who wants to be him. A hero, a heroine in every one of us. Unfortunately, there is also a villain, and therein lies the rub. As you read Mallory's Morte d'Arthur, be careful to find the chivalric code. It's defined very clearly in the text. It is a list of the things that a proper knight should always do and the things a proper knight should never do. Be sure you locate it in the text. It isn't exactly labeled chivalric code, so you will have to find it. Enjoy your visit to Camelot. Thanks.